I'm here, I'm your statue. Your heart is a magnet, I'm coming at you. Girl, you're my target, I'm aiming at you. You're a comet, I'm trying to catch you. We can break any rule they ever taught you. Forget about anything they ever bought you. Cause me and you don't need a lot in this world to get by. Plus you know I got you, you pull me in. I don't resist, time seems to fly but the clock doesn't tick. I crash into you, we both feel the hit. We both feel the way that our chemicals mix. And I wish that
if I just keep my eyes shut, maybe this time it will be enough.
So I need the dark. Without you here, I would never see the stars. I'm headed for you, foot on the gas. I'm coming straight at you, no looking back.
Good evening, everyone on the APAC server. Tonight it's the upper bracket and lower bracket final. And for those of you who is wondering what is going on tonight, we're currently in the knockout stage. It's a double elimination format, best of 7. The grand final being a best of 9. So there are 4 teams in this bracket, and the team that loses 2 rounds exit the tournament. However, they will get some monetary prizes when they exit. Yesterday we found out Nomad finishing in the 4th place, and they will be going home with $2,000 per team, but not per player, per team. The 3rd place, we'll find out which clan that will be tonight. that clan, that team will get $3,000, and the prize pool gets higher as you finish higher in the tournament. And as I heard, next season, Wargaming is planning to have $50,000 prize pool, and I believe that is going to encourage a lot more clans to participate and work even harder for the next season, and I'm going to be excited about that. And I really hope that's going to convince a couple of strong clans from the APAC server to return. But anyway, so today is actually the second last day in the spring season, and tomorrow is going to be the grand final. But let's take a look at the bracket. We have GB versus Risk. In the upper bracket final, the loser of that will face Team ID. Yesterday we had GB knocking out ID in the upper bracket first round by a tiebreaker, but Risk beat 4-1, beat Nomad 4-1 quite convincingly. In the lower bracket first round, again ID have done well against Nomad, and they knocked down Nomad 4-2. Arguably not the strongest night for Nomad, but you have to give them credit for coming this far this season, especially when they're in their third season. And I'm not sure about the players though. I don't think a lot of them have a lot of tournament experience prior, but maybe someone from Nomad can tell me otherwise. But either way, it's a really impressive achievement considering how far they have come since the autumn season last year. But there is still a lot of room for improvement. A lot of room for improvement, and they know this. They would definitely be training hard for the next season, especially when some of the strong clans might consider a comeback. Alright, so this is not the maps we are going to be seeing. I'm going to actually go and copy the maps. I'm just going to be back very soon. Okay, so these are the maps. So, first of all, we are not going to be following the upper bracket first round. We're going to follow the upper bracket final. The maps are going to be Port Bay, Vineyards, Fort Despair, and Dynasty's Pearl. I think this is a good combination of maps. This is going to test the facility of the teams. Port Bay being quite cap oriented. Vineyards not quite cap oriented but very open, so I would say a mobility oriented map. Fort Despair is the complete opposite of Vineyards, being more armor oriented. To some extent it's also cap oriented, but we do see more battles descending into a brawl. And of course, Dynasty's Pearl is a cap-oriented map plus an armor-oriented map. So we are progressively getting more armor-oriented. So GB versus Risk. I don't think both of these teams would benefit in a more armor-oriented map, but I would imagine GV would have a slight edge, although not that big of an edge, but just a slight edge over Risk in terms of the map pool that we will be seeing. The first map will hugely benefit Risk. I think it's a map that they will excel on because it's a cap oriented map. So yeah, I do think this map was going to favor GB a little bit. And then we take a look at the lower bracket final. The maps are Middleburg, Yukon, Oasis Palms, and Naval Frontier. All these are quite cap oriented. Middleburg, but then they have different levels of openness. Middleburg are not quite open. It's kind of a middle ground. Although not too enclosed. You can still do some crossfire. Well, actually no. It's actually quite enclosed. Yukon is well, but Middleburg is not flat. That's for sure. Unless you go to the city side, and then things would be different. Yukon is a lot flatter, so. No, but it's also not that quite cap oriented actually. So we'll favor teams that do better in the armor oriented strategies. Oasis Palms, totally different situation than Yukon. A lot more undulated and more cap oriented. Naval Frontier would be a lot more enclosed, but also quite cap oriented here. So I think this is going to be it's still quite diverse, but ID, I don't know about this. It's going to be hard to call actually. I don't know how this map was going to benefit any, but if Risk did not win against GB, then I think Risk would benefit in that map pool in the lower bracket final. Before I continue, let me just get into the room before I forget to do so, because we are running out of time. We'll take a look at Mapbox predictions later, and then you will know how to get your rewards, because you should be able to get rewards today. Alright, so we don't have a lot of time left, so I'm going to breeze through this. Mapbox is predicting Risk to win. I don't know why they are they are predicting Risk to win. I think the odds are a bit too I would say the odds should be a lot closer. GB have won against Risk a couple of times this season, although not with a big margin, but they did manage to Risk a couple of times. So I won't be surprised if GV manages if GV managed to win against Risk in the upper bracket final, but things are a lot different. There is a lot more at stake, so we're not going to ignore power rating for now because it's not that important. But you want to get rewards for the stream, so you need to follow this link, and the link is pinned in the chat. You just have to click this link and then follow the instructions on the website. Make sure you enable your targeting cookies, otherwise you only see a grey screen on your computer, laptop, or mobile phone, and in that situation you will not be able to get any rewards. Wargaming are not allowed to have targeting cookies enabled to obtain info, so you must enable that in order to get some rewards. So make sure, if you're worried about your personal info being used as well, the word scrupulously, then make sure you disable it. Well, anyway, I digress. And then you must log in on your in-game account on the right server. If you are logging in on the EU server, you will not be able to get any rewards on the stream. Of course, if you're on the NA server as well, then you can't get any rewards for NA account. So make sure. So this is exclusively for the APAC players, the APAC accounts, and most importantly, don't watch the stream on YouTube if you want to get rewards. Wargaming will not know you're watching on YouTube, so make sure you watch it on the portal if you want your rewards so desperately. Okay, let's actually go into Port Bay, as we are running a little bit behind schedule. And you've already seen both of these teams getting into position. GB, however, will go to see and capture the base. Or maybe not. Doha has already received a shot at the beginning, and Risk is trying to reset. See, can they do this? At least is spotted, however. And, oh, a shot onto Tokyo, and I think that will be enough to give Risk the cap lead at the start, as they get A more quickly than GV getting C. So the cap lead is with Risk. GV, however, are they going to keep pushing forward, which is something that they could consider doing. Lisa is still on a long clip reload, and he now has 3 shots in this clip, so he's ready to unleash the full clip when GV decides to push. GV is hesitating a little bit, but it's still fine. It's still early stages in the game. We're still talking about 5 cap points per 2 seconds to increase, so doing the maths, that's essentially more than 2 minutes for GV to decide where to push. So again, lots of time to gather information. However, they don't have a light tank, as far as I'm concerned. Risk have 2 mediums and lights, so this is going to be the main difference between the 2 teams, and GV being forced to rotate without a light tank. And they will have to make a big gamble. But what they've done pretty well is that they've I actually take this back, because I thought they have bled Risk by a couple of hit points, but they themselves also bled a couple too. However, they have the cap lead, the hit point pool lead, because they don't have any lights and mediums. Bifrost is now held down near the coast stacks, which will delay GV's push onto A. And that would also be an indication for Risk to do something with the other tanks. So, make sure you vote in the poll, and I do love to see some ID fans, so thank you for the support here. Okay, so now Risk, well aware, and Bifrost looking over at the hit point pool lead, so it's still not the worst thing to happen for them. Again, GV less than 100 cap points to go before they absolutely have to make a push, and essentially that means they have less than a minute left to go, and their decision is to push onto Elisa. He's now in deep trouble. Risk, are they able to cope with this onslaught from GV? GV is going to send everyone to Elisa, but at the same time, Sugar is going for B. They're going to win by caps, and they might be allowing Lisa to go down here. And OK Man has received a couple here. And Lisa is not going to last for long. GV might have sent too many tanks over to 1. Professor is going to go down to a 1-shot. F Silver is now coming to get the tank up. It's Bifrost that gets killed. However, Lisa is now dead. Mandalorian is now in deep trouble. GV might want to get that tank next. However, Risk is trying to get all 3 caps, and that will be crucial. However, GV has left it way too late to reset B, and now Risk is quite separated and disjointed. I do fear for them. If GV is able to get up a couple more tanks out, they will be in a lot of trouble. But now Mandalorian is dead. Tokyo 1-shot will definitely needs to get that kill. But it's not him that gets the kill. It's going to be Bifrost. Bifrost getting 2 kills, I think. Oh, yeah, the turret is not. Oh dear, the turret is inflicting a couple of damage onto Yang. Maybe this is the man of the match for me. OK Man is down, Willway is down, but Risk have already taken 2 bases, and they will win by caps. A strong start for Risk. I think GV didn't capitalize how spread out Risk tanks are. They didn't really get their focus fire together, and unfortunately they sent way too many tanks to deal with just Elisa. They should have allocated a couple to decap B, in my opinion, and that could have brought the game a lot closer than what I would expect. Great job to Risk. They definitely keep a good eye on the caps, which is quite unlike GV, because normally GV will be the team that keeps a good eye on the caps, and I believe GV is still warming up here. Risk, but they have to be really careful about how spread out they are in the late game stages, because that could have been catastrophic. But they're going to get away with the win here. 4 tanks doing more than 2k, and GV 2 tanks doing more than 2k. A brilliant start for Risk, but there is still a lot to do for them in order to win the fixture. And now, I got the alarm saying OBS disconnected, and now it's reconnected. I don't know what's happening with OBS in the last couple of days, because yeah, it seems to have some. It seems to run into problems in connecting. But now we're back. Nothing has happened, which is brilliant. Just still having a cold here, but it's clearing. I'm feeling a bit better than yesterday for sure, but you can hear me coughing from time to time. We are going back. GB versus Risk. Risk. Now taking double 60 TP, a concept 1B, a Strift K, T100 LT, T110E5, WZ113. On the other hand, GB double MLEs, double IS7s, double Strift Ks, and a 60 TP. You do have to be careful. You have to be aware that Strift K is only available during Christmas, and back then it was not even a Clan Wars tank. And you know, the Christmas event, in all the snow globes, the drop chance of getting Strift K is really low. I mean, you also need to get 10 certificates in order to you have to open 10 snow globes in order to get the tank. Also, drop chance of a snow globe is also quite low. Are they trying to boost? No, I don't know, but it wasn't successful. Well, let's put it this way. But GB will get C. Now that will give them the cap lead this time. And Risk, are they going to get both A and B instead? We shall see. Or what I was trying to say about the Strift case, that not everyone will be able to get the Strift case, and you have to spend a shared load of money to get the tank. So if you don't see teams have using a lot of Strift cases, that may be why they do not have the do not have the funds to get that tank. However, MLEs have been available in the store from time to time. I think this tank is one of those tanks which it will be available from time to time. So you do see more teams having more players having the MLEs, I believe. But I digress. It's because now Milkshake puts a great one onto OK Man, and GB is trying to prevent B from getting captured, but they are losing some hit points in doing so. But at the same time, Milkshake is now isolated. Oh, and Milkshake might not survive for long. Good shot onto Monaco, but how long can Milkshake survive this? Because GB have now sent everyone to tackle Milkshake. Milkshake's the first tank down. Oh my god! Lisa gets ammo racked! Holy cow. That means GB have two cats, yes. They have 2 cats, but they also have 2 tanks of an advantage. This is going to be really difficult for Risk to make a comeback. They really need to get their focus fire sorted, but this battle, it seems that they are not. They're slacking a little bit. Professor is now dead. Weller is now dead. Sugar and Mugu tries to get OK Man, but Sugar and Mugu bounce. Absolver. It's a max throw onto OK Man, but it's not enough to kill OK Man. It's now a 5 versus 3. I think this is all over for Risk. And Absolver gets a kill onto Monaco. Great kill there, but Absolver is now a one-shot, and focus is now onto Guillaume. Absolver is now removed from the battlefield, with GB trying to take Sugar Mugu next. And Guillaume is out of the way. Risk is still working hard to get the focus fire, but that ammo rack is not helping their cause at all. They are consistently within 2 tanks of deficit, and their effective DPM is as low as it can get. But kudos to them. They tried really hard to make to bring it to a close battle. But GV has no problem in winning this one. So well done to Risk, GV. 5 tanks doing more than 2k, and Risk 4 tanks doing more than 2k, and a highly unfortunate ammo rack onto poor old Lisa. No one wants an ammo rack, but I hope this is not going to put them on a downward spiral, because you don't want to go on tilt at this stage. Vineyards. It's going to be a different map. 1-1 it is. What it is. Oof. That was that immediately warms up my voice. I feel very sorry for Risk, but what can you do when you have an ammo rack? You could only feel sorry for them, to be honest with you. But let's take a look at the poll. What have you said about the team, the winning team? You all said GV will win. 51% of you made the prediction. Make this prediction. Are you going to jinx GV? We'll find out soon. But GV getting a win over Risk on port bay is going to be quite important. This is going to be totally different. But will Risk still have the edge over GV? Also at the same time, Risk, we all know they are quite a tactical team. GV more to do with their teamwork and individual skills. So it's kind of like let's say an APA versus reject situation, with Risk being more the APA kind, and Risk GV being more of the rejects kind. I know this is kind of a far-fetched comparison, to be honest with you, because there's still a lot of differences between these two teams, these 4 teams. But you see what I mean, because these 2 teams do have some notable differences in their play styles, but it works for these teams, so you cannot say one should imitate the other. And we could now see Risk taking double T100 LTs. Thank you, Risk, for taking the T100 LTs. You know, I'm happy about that, and I'm going to bless you with my with all my heart for you to win this one, because you love your mediums and lights. Okay. Well, at the same time, GV also has a light tank, so it's good. But they don't have a cap lead. Risk will have a cap lead as they captured B more quickly than GV captured A. F Silver will jump into C and will try to get the cap, try to extend the cap lead. Doha tries to blind fire, does not hit anything. I think he wants to. He predicts there's a tank on the left side of the circle from my perspective, but there's no one there. But David Attenborough might be feeling some pressure. Oh, good shot to Professor, whoever that is. That is Mandalorian, dropping the tungsten shell. Good shot onto OK Man as well. GV is trying to get B back, but David Attenborough is now in deep trouble. I think GV is pressuring Risk over B, and that will force Risk on the defense. OK Man receives another big one from Mandalorian, and GV is unable to cap B at the moment, and Risk is holding up well. But we could see a push coming in from Gyang in the Strift K. But GV really needs to be careful here. They're bleeding. If they don't push soon, they're going to keep on losing hit points unless they get a tank afterward, which is David Attenborough now down to a 1-shot. But Gyang has now gone deep into the spawn of Risk, and it's going to be extremely tough. Monaco misses the shot. Now Sugar Mugu needs to work alongside F-Silver to take out Monaco, but F-Silver is not going to last for long. Hit points are now in huge favor of Risk, but Sugar Mugu might want to be aware of what's going to happen next. David Attenborough is now dead. It's now a 6 versus 5. OK Man is now dead, so it's now 5 versus 5. Milkshake cannot get A, but GB successfully gets B, and I think this is going to be a turning point. Lisa and Mandalorian are still very healthy, and they really need to make use of the hit points. And Milkshake will not last for a lot longer. Good shot from Lisa onto Doha. Milkshake instead bring this to a 4 versus 4, but Risk definitely needs to get B back, and we don't want to see another ammo rack happening here. Tokyo is tasked. Oh, big one onto Tokyo by Mandalorian, and now Sugar and Moon is coming from this side, trying to get a better angle to get shots in. He finds Tokyo sideways, so he's gonna put another one onto Tokyo, but it's a miss here. And Shigemugu, can he put another one? Yes, it's a good shot, but it's a low roll. And Risk gets B back. This is surely going in favor of Risk. And Tokyo is out of the mission, with Mandalorian going up the ridge here, looking to put a big shell to kill Professor. But it's going to be enough for Risk. They have 1,000 cat points, and that gives them the second victory of the night. They only need to win 2 more now. GB is struggling a little bit. I think they were a bit slow in the push. I think their idea is to bleed Risk long enough, but Risk, they don't have any trouble bleeding GB, so it's more, I think it's kind of a mistake in their calculation. Maybe they should have go for a full-on push, and that would have sealed them the win. They were very slow, and Risk was able to breathe. If you allow Risk to breathe, you are in trouble, because Risk is able to get all the tanks out. And I do hope the chat will be civil. And we don't hope we are going to descend into a discussion of which server is better, because this is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to benefit anyone. It's just going to, I mean, you know, it's going to stroke your ego, nothing more. And let's not go back to this situation that's just like yesterday, because yesterday was really not good in terms of how the chat had descended. So let's not go to this place. Risk. We have a lot of things. We're going to announce the lineup later. And thanks, Ross, for the compliment for the mic color. And let's see about this.
Time to roll out.
Risk, blue team from the north spawn, and GB, red team from the south spawn. Looking at Sugar and Mugu in the T100 LT, he will be going to A. But he will go to A a little bit later. I think this is just the nature of how the B cap is closer to the spawn than A is to the north spawn. So that will give. Oh, actually, no. Risk actually gets an A cap, as they have sent like 3 tanks, or just only 2 tanks onto A. Also, GB sent 2 tanks, but it wasn't enough to bring them the cap lead. Now GB has to make a push somewhere. But Risk cannot get C because OK Men is spotted and Mandalorian is spotted. So if you get to C, you will be spotted. So you can't do that. F-Silver would try to drive into C, but I would highly advise against that. Oh well, actually he's not spotted. Maybe he could get away with this, but Monaco, can he guess the correct position of the captain flag this time? They are guessing the left side of the circle from my perspective, which is not where F Silver is. So F Silver will get C. Well, this is a gamble worth taking for us in the end. And GB are they going to retake A? Lisa is there to prevent that from happening, and he will know how many tanks will go for A from GB side. But at the same time, OK Ben is trying to go for C, but I think he might have made a mistake here, because look at how many tanks of risk there are. OK Ben will not survive for long, and GB will have to do something on the other side, or maybe they will come back to provide reinforcements. But OK Ben, how long can he stay alive here? I don't know. Well, where it's in a really good position to prevent from getting shot at. OK Ben is now dead, which brings the fight to a 6 versus 7. GV now has a tough job on their hands. Mandalorian, good shot onto Gyang, and Tokyo is trying to put a shot onto Mandalorian. Risk is trying to make it difficult for GB to focus fire, which is good to see. We're seeing Number also out of the fight, and Risk is doing an amazing job. They're now trying to get Doha out of the way. Let's follow them for now. GB now has 2 caps, but Professor is now dead. But Doha is now in deep trouble. Although dropping the reactive armors, he's not going to last for long anyway. What would delay the speed, the velocity, the rate at how quickly the team with the LTs get Doha, but it's all over for GV. They just lost too many tanks. Tokyo is out of the fight, and only one more kill will be enough to give Risk the win. Or maybe it's not. It's going to be Risk. 1,000 cap points. 3-1. Yes, I second Frostbite. I second Frostbite. I might have to personally mute a couple of people here if we continue to have that discussion about which server is better, because honestly, it's not going to you know, help anyone's cause. We'll stroke your ego, but only your ego, okay? we want to be focused on in this in the matches tonight. We have yeah, we don't really want to see any more any debates. That's going to go nowhere, and it's not going to benefit anyone. And certainly these discussions can go to a terrible territory, and I mean, let's hope we don't go to this. But I digress. 5 times doing more than 2k for Risk, and GV 1 time doing more than 2k. There we go. 3-1 for Risk, and they're looking strong tonight. They're looking really good. They're looking really good. GB is, I don't know, they're losing steam. They're starting to lose a lot of steam. They were very good against Risk in the group stage. Tonight, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Certainly the Risk Smokers Fire is a lot better tonight compared to what I saw in the group stage. So GB now, they have to step up. It's now Fort Despair, but now they have to win 4 in a row in order to win the entire fixture. And there we go. Risk, blue team from the south spawn with GB, red team from the north. You can also see on the mini-map the colors of the map are switched, which is something that I noticed recently. I don't know why, but it's like that. Let's follow David Attenborough and the MLE. Milkshake also looking at B. But GV might try and get cat lead on C, but no, Doha is spotted, so they're trying to be careful about this. OK Man is spotted and shot at in the mouse. At this point, when both teams are holding. Well, it doesn't matter if you push shots onto the mouse. At the end of the day, you want a hit point pool lead, so it doesn't matter. C will be taken potentially, but Tokyo has taken a big one, and I do think Risk will get B first, and GB will get C next. Oh, OK Man has been shot by a lot. Oh no, I think GB has lost way too many hit points. Oh no, OK Man's now down to 1 shot. This is a problem of taking a position here. It's going to be a risky position. Well, I say that from coming from experience with tournaments. So you do have to provide more support to the tank in this position here. Otherwise, this is not going to be. This is going to be a position that is going to receive a lot of incoming crossfire. But now Mandalorian is in deep trouble for both Young and Doha bounce, which is not nice. Mandalorian is not going to last for long, and that will elicit the response of Risk on the other side, as they have taken OK Man, and Tokyo is out of the fight as well. Well, gets the kill, 2 tanks out already. Mandalorian is still alive. He's trying to run away, but he's not going to survive for that. Professor's now in deep trouble. So, in terms of the number of guns killed, Risk have killed more guns than GV. Now GV has lost another one of Professor. Not Pro is now in deep trouble. I have a lot of concerns about GV tonight. They're struggling tremendously. Not Pro is now down to a 1 shot, and F-Silver gets the kill. Monaco is now the focus for Risk, and you can see all the Risk tanks, 6 tanks in fact, getting Monaco. Mandalorian only finally goes down after 5 tanks of GV are killed, and this is how you play with numbers. So great job to Risk for making a push. GV just look very disjointed tonight. They really need to shore up their defense, and also they need to be a bit more agile, because they just look very off. And I do hope against ID. Oh, yeah, David Attribution almost has a new hat. But oh my god, Risk with quite a thrashing against GV. GV, I don't know what happened to them, but tonight, but this is not their game, obviously. For 5 tanks doing more than 2k for Risk, and GV only 1 tank doing more than 2k. I think Risk just, well, I don't think we are seeing lots of mistakes for Risk here. And certainly if they have made a couple, it's not enough to give them defeat. They've definitely learned from the mistake of the lack of focus, for the relative lack of focus fire in the group stage, and they addressed this issue and they rectified it, and look how strong they are tonight. And they are now the first team in the grand final. 4-1 against GV. GV will have to fight against ID, and we will know which team will join Risk in the grand final. So there's still a lot of time left. We're going to do some analysis, so to speak. Let's see the chat. You should be able to open the link. If you can't, go to the official Wargaming website. Go to the official Wargaming website, and then click click Tournaments tab above, and then you can see a big blob saying Professionals Tournament, and then you can find my stream there, and then you can get your rewards this way too. If the link doesn't work for some reason, which it should work, I mean, I'm just going to click that link again. It is getting you to the right web page, so I'm not sure why you're unable to do so. But if you can't, then just go to the official Wargaming website, click the Tournaments tab, and then the Professionals Tournament box, and then you can click on a random stream to get your rewards. Yes. All right. Okay, let me just update the. Okay, let me update this. Yes, we got it. GB versus ID next, and the next match will happen at 10 past. All right, so let's analyze the battle. Huh. Oh, really? You're not going to hear the ad. All right, let's find a game to analyze, and I'll be back very soon. Well, let's actually take a look at the first game, which is actually a good game. I like to analyze that. GB would have a good chance to win. Is this a good chance to win? Well, let's analyze this first battle on Port Bay. Good stuff. It's good stuff. And the cap lead at the start, as they get A more quickly than GB getting C. So the cap lead is with Risk. GB, however, are they going to keep pushing forward? Okay, so this is a really interesting position by Oakman. Normally, you would see Risk. I mean, the defending team Risk will push the line a little behind to kind of maybe take this location, or maybe even further than that. And with OK Man taking this position unharmed, this is going to be very dangerous because that will give a good overview to what's going on in the spawn, and in this situation, the spawn usually have some really good positions to reset the AB cap. So you do have to be aware of that. You do have to be careful with that. And OK Man in that position would give GB some really good overview. So this is something you have. So this is a dangerous situation that Risk have to be aware of. And they're playing this one very defensively. And GB at this point that I do think they have a map control. So let's continue to see what's going to happen here, which is something that they can consider doing. Lisa is still on a long clip reload, and he now has 3 shots in this clip, so he's ready to unleash the full clip when GB decides to push. GB is hesitating a little bit, but it's still fine. It's still early stages. Oh, good stuff from F-Server to put shots onto GB. I think a lot of issues for GB tonight have been around them bleeding when they are holding, and this has occurred a couple of times, and that have those instances have allowed Risk to capitalize on the hip hop pool advantage that they have. They have managed to pull through. At the same time, I mean, at the same time, you're seeing GB with a strong hip hop pulling at the start, because they don't take a light or medium tank. But on Port Bay, you might want to take a light or medium, because you can see how open it is if you take those plateaus. Okay, if you take those plateaus, there is a lot of areas that you can spot with a light tank. As I always say, if you take a lineup without a light or medium in a relatively open map, then you have to play the match really aggressive, play the battle really aggressively. Otherwise, you're going to be under a disadvantage with the map control, especially. And if GB, if they take a light tank instead, I can guarantee you this, they will have a better. They will have even a stronger map control. I mean, okay, man, in that position, it's good. Give them some good oversight on as to what's going on near the spawn. But if they get a light tank on over to the plateaus, that would definitely put risk in a very difficult situation. so please forgive me for saying for being annoying about the light tank, because I really do highly rate the light tank in the tournament battle stages in the game. We're still talking about 5 cap points for 2 seconds to increase. But then GB still has a lot of time. I mean, so I think everyone would know by now. You get an increase of cap points by you get some increase of cap points per 2 seconds if you get 1 cap. Obviously, if you get 2 caps, then you will have a higher number of cap points of increase per 2 seconds. So whether any team has a calculator near their bed, table, GB will know they still have a lot of time to figure to bleed risk. So I think a lot of teams will know by now, especially APAC teams, because I know how how much they play, how much they center their strategies around the cap. So it's a lot of time for GB to figure out how to push. Although yes, I do say you have to be really aggressive with your lineup, because you don't have a light tank, so you're basically gambling on which side to push, pretty much. And we do see from time to time teams just pushing onto nowhere, and the other team just kind of rotate away from where the pushing team is supposed to go for. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen next. So doing the maths, that's essentially I think there is pretty much 2 minutes of nothingness in this battle, so we're going to skip ahead. And I think at this point you will see GB now making a push, but they haven't bled enough risk. On the contrary, they have actually lost even more hit points, which is something Risk have done really well in this battle. But they absolutely have to make a push, and essentially that means they have less than a minute left to go, and their decision is to push onto Elisa. He's now in deep trouble. Risk, are they able to cope with this onslaught from GB? GB is going to send everyone to... Okay, so Elisa is in a good position to hold off a push. However, he is in a crown bargain, so that means he doesn't have the reactive armor. He doesn't have the DPM as well. Although he's able to unleash the clip, so if GB hesitates to push, then they would take a lot of damage. And as I said, I think Risk, what they have done really well here is that they realized there's no light side for GB, so they might be able to vacate their spawn so that they would be only able to kill a tank. Meanwhile, they can just get everyone onto Professor. Mandalorian can't really go for that, so maybe he's going to be staying here to slow down the push of GB. So I think Risk have done a good job with the numbers in this battle, and GB had to be really quick in getting those tanks out of the way. Elisa, but at the same time, Sugar is going for B. They're going to win by caps, and they might be allowing Lisa to go down here. And OK Man has received a couple here. And Lisa is not going to last for long. GB might have sent too many tanks over to one. And Professor is going to go down to one. Yes, I don't know. I think Professor might not have. I mean, you could go back and say what position Lisa has taken. Yes, he's taken this position. He has used the hill to his right to shield himself. Try to buy as much time for risk to kill a tank. However, look at Professor position. Professor position is in the position that is gonna be quite hard to hold down, especially MLE is such a tall tank. You're going to have a difficult time in hiding your lower parts of your armor. I would have called for Professor to go to the plateau here. That will allow Professor to stay alive for a lot longer because simply can move back the two hills to his both sides, would be able to shield himself for a little bit longer. But then there is also another advantage of taking the plateau here. When you move back, GV can, sometimes rotate, get crossfire into whoever's trying to push onto Professor. Professor will stay alive a lot longer, and Lisa will be dead by now. So I believe Professor has taken a bad position here. So M Silver is now coming to get the tank out, but it's Bifrost that gets killed. However, yeah, I mean, you can also see like how quickly Tokyo and there's another tank I forgot. I think it is I don't know who it is, but yeah, that's already like two tanks back to support Professor. Professor would have stayed alive in this case, but you have to give credits to Risk for that. Double 6 TPs, doing a good job in the bleeding GB. Lisa is now dead. Mandalorian is now in deep trouble. GB might want to get that tank next. Alright. And I think in this situation is kind of a lost cause for GB. They've now totally vacated C. B, well, they can reset B, but they will be having a 2 cap disadvantage. Look at the cap points, 830 for both teams. If Risk can get 3 caps, then they will have a really strong advantage. But even they can't, 2 caps might be enough. Can GV get A? They can try to, but they don't have a light tank to kind of like go for A like that. So again, this is another reason why you want to take a light tank on Port Bay. It's because in this stages like in the late game stage like this, that light tank can just sneak into A and cap the base back, and the cap points will get a lot closer. So now GB has to hope that they can kill all the tanks very quickly, but the hit point advantage is with Risk as well. So at this point, there is not a lot that GB could do. I think the lineup they sorely need that light tank. First, to get a better overview, map control. Second, in stages like this, they really want that light tank to kind of sneak into bases to cap those spaces out. So I think this is the takeaway from this battle, is that once again, to emphasize how important it is to take a light tank on Port Bay. And second of all, it's sometimes you also have to consider which position you're taking when you're the only tank that are overlooking a push that's coming. Like Professor would have a much better time taking this position. That would have halted, well, not really halted, slowed down the push of Risk by considerably, and at that point they might still have a chance in winning against Risk. And Risk have done pretty much everything correct. So especially I love how they play with caps, and I also love how they conserve their hit points when they defend the base, the cap lead. So they have done these two things really well, and they've brought them a really good deserved victory. Alright, let's go. Back to the lounge. Sorry about that. So Underwatcher says there is only like 3 out of actual top well not well I won't say top 3 out of 8 actual top 8 teams like like that would be an insult to APAC basically. Because they definitely improved. Let's not argue about that because they did have improved a lot from the autumn season, and they were in the top 8 in the autumn season, so at least they're more than 3. No, I mean no, that is not my well, that is my face, but that is me in the battle actually. I actually go against having my face in the analysis because you want to see everything in the in the battle. I can't be bothered to kind of scale on my face to replace that. So anyway, but I do agree that APAC server has been well, this season has been the least competitive since I started following APAC server. Well, I think the only season that can be compared to this level of activity would be 2020 summer season. Well, in that sense, maybe 2020 summer season is more dead. But I would argue against whether we only have 3 out of 8 because of top 8 teams, because we definitely have more than that. That number. And Nomad definitely deserve to be there. End of story. And I mean there is also EVG, which won against Risk. So that also doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm just going to go off too much tangent here because I do have some replays here, but you're not going to hear the in-game sound as I'm going to, I'm going to, do something behind the scenes. So I'm going to ask Mavox what they think about the next couple of what they think about the lower bracket final. So I'll show you the replay, but you will hear no in-game sound. So I apologize, but I don't have a second screen, so this is why you're not going to hear any sound. So I'll be back. But this is a great replay from Liberté. In the T62A, but you're not going to hear any in-game sound as I'm going to. Hopefully you can see the screen. Tell me if you can only see a black screen. Alright. I'm also going to work because if it's not working, then I'm not going to play any replays while I'm doing stuff behind the scenes. So, oh, there we go. Let me just put there. Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, we got a prediction here. And you'll soon find out the score line of this my box off go. Okay. I'm gonna show this after the replay. Hopefully, it's still showing on the stream. Let me know it's not. It's kind of something I'm going to do. Huh. Oh, it's not playing. Play. Oh my god.
Move out.
Well, so it was not going as I intended to be. Which is nice. But let's look at this for now. Well, maybe next time I will do it better. But we will see this replay. And after that, I will show you Mapbox prediction on the stream.
We've lost a track. We're stuck here. The driver's injured. Enemy armor is damaged. Penetration.
But that was a kind of circle of death they're doing.
Penetration.
Oh, TVP wasn't able. They don't have enough speed.
Enemy
That was a
armor
good
is
shot
hit.
there. But that was a good kill. And well, I think it. Yeah, I don't think my face is blocking the screen, but yeah. Oh, can they do it against? Yeah, he's now one shot, so this is going to be tough. But I think they're just playing around with 60 FPS. Not much, not a lot happening here. They're trying to bait 60 FPS for a shot. Oh, good shot there. To Andromeda.
Damage them.
Now it's I forgot. Or Andromeda. I might have just kind of
Enemy armor is hit.
got confused because there is also a song called
Enemy armor is hit.
Andromeda and it's in Italian. So I might have been a bit confused with the Italian pronunciation too. But anyway, but that's a big kill there against 6TV. Good teamwork there.
Penetration. Enemy armor is hit. Penetration.
Okay. Oh, they are really working well together. I don't know about teammates. They should be. I think they might be
Ricochet.
disappointed that these two mediums are not going to the other side, but the usual southeastern corner, which is where I usually go in the mediums. Oh, what 140, that was a terrible miss. But yeah, but usually in randoms you will go to the southeastern corner. Just give you better map control here, in my opinion. So I don't know, but now chat is disabled, so you can't see any more salty people bickering in the chat. Well, that's just only exclusive to the EU server. Oh, today. That was today's shot. Sorry. That gorilla kind of blocked him. But no, actually he got a kill in the end. Great one by Liberty. Not sure what the teammates would think about that, to be honest with you, but a win is a win, nonetheless. And you got a lot of damage, so that is what matters the most at the end of the day. Good teamwork with your teammate, but yeah. I kind of feel for the teammates which would have raged seeing the medium tanks going to an unconventional position. Not somewhere I would go personally, but it works for you, and it's a win for you, so there's nothing more I could say, to be honest. But good job. Well, anyway, now I'm going to give you the predictions of Mabox. GB versus Team ID. We are seeing a 4-3 victory for GB. But can they make a comeback tonight? They are so far under a bit of a poor form. They're not doing very well against Risk earlier, but they have another chance against ID. Last time round, GB won 4-3 against ID in the upper bracket first round. This is a rematch where we see GB knocking out ID tonight and give ID $3,000 of prize pool, or is it going to be GB that gets the prize pool fund? And yeah, for those of you you haven't seen the screen, so once again I'm showing you GB versus ID. Predicts go in favor of GB 4-3. I am going to open the poll now. Which clan would win? And next, I think it's good to actually check out the service for the Blitz Master Spring. Let's go over. Let's take a look at the EU server. Yesterday, we had Rejects 4-2 against APA, and ARWV 4-1 against Endgame. And today, the upper bracket final, we first begin with Rejects versus ARWV, and the loser of that against APA, as APA beat Endgame 4-1. And I must say that the games of APA versus Endgame are close, but APA did better than Endgame in a lot of areas. I think in particular, as I saw, would be their focus fire. Their focus fire was just better. Although they're also doing really good crossfire. So APA, I think against Rejects they were very unlucky against in Middleburg, but you also have to give credit to Rejects for winning by caps on Middleburg. But APA had them in the focus fire and the guns. So if Rejects did not win against ARWV, I could see Rejects would give another run. Will APA give another run to Rejects? So let's see about that. Let's go over to the NA server, and that will be X Origin 4-2 against APAC, and Jokers 4-3 against SLG. SLG came really close. And they got their revenge against APAC. Well, not a revenge, but it's more like an avenge, so to speak. Well, maybe not. It's not the best word, I would say. They let out the anger against APAC, so poor APAC, having to deal with their with the angry SLG team as they were brutally knocked out 0-4. I didn't watch the games on the LA server, so I don't know how close these games are. Sometimes the scoreline would not reflect the true reality of the closeness of the games, and you do have to be careful of this. It's easy to think that SLG have thrashed APAC, but maybe it's not the case. Maybe it's just APAC played really well, but SLG just plays slightly better. And in all 4 games they played, they just had APAC in control. And now we're going to be seeing GB versus ID next, happening very soon. About 7 minutes from my time, I think also in your time. Again, 3 minutes of stream delay. So on the stream you say 2010, it says 2010, but on the stream, but if you're watching the stream, that will happen at 2013. But I still mark it as 2010 because that is the factual information, exactly when the fixture would begin. So let's say we will have the room invite very soon. I'm not going to take a look at another replay, or I would not analyze another battle as well. Okay, so I haven't said hello to Napoleon Blown Apart, so hello there. So, how's the poll going on? Oh, 73% of you have said GB will win, but will that be the case? We will find out soon, and the room invite will be up in any second. Hey, there we go. The room is up, and it will be ID versus GB. Of course, we have said it a lot of times. XAFK is also streaming tonight, and so is iShots. If you happen to be, if you happen to know the Russian language, I don't know about the APAC, the APAC geography, but as far as I know, I don't think there's a lot of people that could speak Russian. Yeah. But either way, Middleburg. Although you can also argue that like most of Russia is in Asia. So yeah, so it could make it also makes sense that way. But outside of, and also, well, I don't think it will be appropriate to say no. The Central Asian countries, they have a different language. No, they have a different language. Yeah, they have a different language. Well, anyway, let's take a look at the lineup very soon. GB, we will see OK Men in the mouse and double strip case by Young and Pro. Doha, T110E5, Monaco, 60 TP, and double MLUs by Professor and Tokyo. On the other hand, ID, what tanks are they taking? Let's take a look. Let's take a look right now. Camden dropping into a Super Conqueror, Frozen, and then MLE, ID. They used to love their E100s, but they are not taking any E100s as they are taking triple VK72s. For Rienica and the 60p and Spartan Sword might go for the VK90. Very, very heavy lineup for ID. Middleburg is not flat. It's, well, not flat unless you go to the city side, and I don't think this lineup for ID would do well, would bode well for them going up to the hill. So I think GB might try to get the map control over to the seaside, and it will be very difficult for ID to defend AB if that's what they're trying to do here. Let's see what will happen very soon. GB versus Team ID. And 30 more seconds to go. Again, the map pool. I'm going to speak it out loud. Middleburg, Yukon, Oasis Palms, and Nathan Frontier. As I briefed in the earlier in the stream, this set of maps will benefit teams which do well with cap strats. But in terms of like the openness of these maps, they kind of they have some differences, and it's kind of a good balance there. So for teams who play well with mobile setup or heavy setup, doesn't really give them the advantage. But this set of maps, they are they're quite cap oriented. So will ID benefit from this? We will see. It's gonna be hard to say. I think ID is still making still trying to get back to where they were. This season is their best season since 2022 autumn. So looking at where both teams would go, GB will send most of the tanks over to AB, and so is ID, which is actually a lot more obvious with the lineup they're taking here. ID Frozen will get B cap, and that will give them the cap lead. GB, however, is sitting very deep, and I does not know this. They might be thinking most of the GB tanks will go for C. Tokyo, however, is the only tank on C, so I think that could give them a false idea. But they now spot a lot of tanks of GB sitting near the spawn. But so far, GB's strategy is not quite working because they have taken a couple of hits. I think those positions were meant to put a lot of shots onto ID, but I don't know, it seems to backfire for GB. And they only managed to put a shot onto Hinter, which gives ID the hit point pool lead still. A great shot onto the Galera. But there's also ID still trying to bleed GB as much as they can. What will GB do? Are they trying to retake field? Are they trying to pincer ID? ID might be trapped into a single pocket. Both teams are approaching this one slowly, so you might think GB are not moving much, but they're actually doing something near B, and they're going to sever ID's team potentially, but we'll see. Tokyo takes another hit, and ID are holding up well. They now have more than 1k hit points of advantage. Are they going to make a push somewhere? I think it's possible. Like Golera and Frozen can take up Tokyo alongside Plorielica. And they should ignore OK Man. LDS now showing sideways to OK Man. Will ID make a move now? Because GB is starting to make a move. Inter takes another one. They really need to do something because the MLEs are quite isolated. And the VKs are now in deep trouble. ID needs to do something now. If they don't, they're in heaps of trouble. Frozen's now coming from behind, trying to put a big one onto Tokyo. And he gets the kill. Tokyo is the first time down. On the other hand, LDS is down to a one-shot. OK Man is going past LDS. And Camper will put a good shot onto OK Man. And OK Man is down to Spartan Sword. But Hinter is also quite low. Monaco looks to put a big one onto Hinter. Gets the kill onto Hinter. LDS is also down. But ID's focus has turned to Professor. It's now a 5 versus 5 situation here. Frozen is going to put a big shot onto Professor. And Plorielica is almost fully reloaded. Big shot from Golero to Napo. That's a high row. Doha is off the fight. And the hit points are in huge favor of ID. Good focus fire by IDGV. Again, not as streamlined as I thought they would be here. They're just not that, you know, not that clinical. And ID, the focus fire is good. It's the ID team I know of. They won against GB before 4-1, and this is the ID team that beats GB 4-1. So GB is now in deep trouble. They really need to do something to improve their gameplay. Like Golera bounces onto Monaco. Spartan Sword gets the kill onto Monaco. Frozen comes from behind, tries to get Young out of the fight. And he does bring the scoreline to a 1-0 victory in favor of Team ID. Hello there. To someone with a Cyrillic name. We'll say GB 4 tanks doing more than 2k and ID 4 tanks doing more than 2k. Good start to Team ID. Good focus fire. GB not quick enough in getting those kills. ID just seems to be a bit more clinical in that respect. I think GB something feels very off for them tonight. It's just they used to have some really good focus fire and teamwork, but tonight just they feel a bit slow. I don't know what's going on for them, but they really need to improve on that if they want to qualify to the grand final, because this is not it so far. ID looking the stronger team here, but just only a first battle. It's only a first battle. Let's see what both teams are going to do in the next one. ID double MLEs, a T110 E5, double Strift K, and IS4 60 TP GB, double Strift K, double MLEs, an E5, 60 TP, and a mouse. Let's see where both teams are going to go this time. But ID will surely be very satisfied about that result. And they're dropping those VKs. And this lineup will favor them going up the hillside. GV to some extent as well, but they have more heavily armored tanks, so I won't be surprised if they go back to the city once again. Let's see where both teams go this time. Let's find out now.
Move out.
let's take a look at both teams. GB this time will go to the hill. But as I expected, will go to the hill. I mean, this lineup would just make a lot more sense going uphill. But GB will also go for that same position. However, the DPM will go in favor of ID as they have double strip Ks. And MLEs have okay DPM too. Especially with Tungsten Shell, that will give them more DPM. And Professor will commit his tank to B. And they might try and get a cap lead here. Oh, actually, ID are not going to send everyone to here. They are spreading out. They're not going to decap B. The buildings are going to shield them from the line of fire. So, GB with 6 tanks over to the hillside, and them getting B will give them a big advantage. And Polrielica is spotted. Oh, Professor is also spotted, but he is unable to put a shot to Professor. Polrielica also gets shot at by someone. I don't know who it is, who he is, but Professor is not the one putting a shot on Polrielica, however. Or maybe yes. Right at the beginning, which we missed that probably. Polrielica now trying to get C. Can he do that? Gotta go. Good shot on Polrielica. Goss got back to save team. Polrielica receives an HG splash from Tokyo. But IDS dropped a lot of hit points already. And GB are holding up well. Polrielica puts an importable onto Nutpro, but we're seeing a push coming. LDS has taken a couple of hits. I'm not sure if this push is going to work. It's going to be a 7v7 push. But they're trying to share the hit points, and that is going to matter a lot. Pamper receives a lot of shots on the crossing. I'm not sure if ID is able to reduce the hit point deficit. It's a bit too much for me. Nutpro is dead before Campo gets taken out. Now Spartan Sword and Glitter is trying to use the hit points, trying to get Tokyo out of the way, but LDS and Hinter are all very, very low. Campon's still alive, but barely. Professor will get the kill onto Campo and Hinter instead. LDS is also quite low. Gosso is now it's also out of the fight here. LDS is out of the game. And we're going to be seeing a 4 versus 5 situation. ID doing all they could, but they just lost way too many hit points on the crossing. And it's just going to be a steep slope to climb if they want to win this one. Polrielica is a one-shot. Tokyo is out of the fight despite ID's immaculate focus fire. Yeah, it's not going to be enough, is it? Professor is a focus for ID unless GB just completely fluffs their focus fire. I don't think ID is going to win this one. Fairly an effort to ID, but they just left way too much on the crossing. Nothing much you can do about this. They also tried their best to share the hit points, but GB just killed all the low hit point pool targets, and their focus fire is on point this time, enough to bring them over the edge. Licolera one shot, and the scoreline is back 1-1. Spartan Sword brawling with OK Men. Giang good shot on Spartan Sword, and Monaco looking to put a big one onto Spartan Sword. Oh, it's a huge HE penetration onto that. And wow, GB defended well. You have to give them credits for that. ID did not put a foot wrong, except losing a bit of hit points at the start, but they have done all they could to bring it close, but it wasn't close enough. And that's not their fault at all. I mean, GB just did so well with punishing ID on the crossing. Even ID has the slight advantage for the DPMs. Just nothing much they can do. GB just they have done all the things right to win. This one is all down to the push. Whether I should have made a push or not, or maybe they should have bled GB a little bit longer to make them a bit more comfortable in the push. We can argue about that, but the focus fire, the hip hop push sharing ID, they've done everything they could to make it difficult for GB. But GB just, they are not a static team. They move around, try to connect with one another. They've done a good job in the last battle. We're now on to Yukon. 1-1 it is. And let me just end the poll at the spot. Again, quite a close result between two teams, but you still jinx GV. 52% of you think that GV will win, so will the audience jinx GV again? Audience jinx versus Berlin's Patton. This is a legendary fight, is it? Isn't it? GV. Double 60Ps, double MLEs, and a strip K amounts to 97 ID, double MLUs, triple strip Ks on 60TP, and a mouse. Let's go back to Middleburg. I am joking, we are not going back to Middleburg. We're now going to Yukon. Where will both of these teams go? Let's find it now. So, GB, blue team from the north spawn, they will send most of the tanks over to AB, with ID red team from the south spawn will send most of the tanks over to the D side and maybe to a C side as well. LDS in the mouse to drive to C, but he's too slow to get a cap lead for him. And also the C cap it's further away than B is to the north spawn, so GB will get a cap lead on B. And ID will see if they can get a cap on D as well. But LDS is spotted trying to get C, so he can't get C. Not sure if it's the right tank for that, to be honest with you. ID will get D, but that would not be enough to give them the cap lead back. With them unable to get C, this means ID will suffer from a cap disadvantage and also a cap disadvantage. In terms of the numbers, Frozen misses the shot, and Nutpro also misses the shot, and Frozen takes a hit from OK Man. LDS tries his luck again with C, but I think GB is prepared for this. Professor might bring it to a 1v1, but LDS receives a bounce. Nutpro takes a hit. Professor puts a shot onto LDS, but are reaching a 2 versus 1 over here. At the same time, ID is prepared to retake B, and this is going to send into pandemonium. Hit points are dropping for both teams, but again, ID dropping more hit points than GB. LDS is trying to reconnect with his team, and he's doing a good job in doing so. Monaco is now the focus for Team ID, but the Golera is now down to 1 shot. GB wants to get the tank out first. But Monaco is the first tank out. Really good shot efficiency right here. It's now a 6 versus 6. Campon now down to 1 shot. LD is also very low. Campon is now out of the fight. The focus is now onto Nutpro. And there are a couple of bounces onto Tokyo as well. Nutpro down to 1 shot. Polrieka gets the kill. And it's now a 4 versus 4. Tokyo, good shot onto Hinter. But I think it's way too much for ID to handle. They just don't have the tanks to do this. Despite some good focus fire again, but GB has done a really good job in bleeding ID as they cross, and they also have decent focus fire, so ID, they have to hope that the next one GB will not do well in the focus fire. Spartan Sword gets killed by fire. The focus has turned to Frozen, and Porienica is out of the fight. Tokyo, Young, and Gotsu will take care of Frozen, and Frozen will have to go back to the garage and get ready for the next battle, as this battle ends pretty quickly in favor of GB. 2-1. It is now the scoreline. Looking at the damage here, GB only, well, 6 times doing more than 2k. That's a good indication that they have done focus fire really well. And more importantly, every tank is important in this battle. Professor, despite being the last in the amount of damage done, he actually kills 1 and almost done more than 2,000 hit points. So great battle. GB has rediscovered their form, definitely. they're winning the last 2 battles despite ID throwing everything with their focus fire and also hip hop sharing. Simply GB just excels with the crossfire and also making sure the tanks are killed as soon as possible. So GB are now getting a comeback. This is Berlin's pep talk for you. It is working for them. And we're going back to Yukon, being less of a tactical map. Seems GB is doing a better job at this. Maybe because it focuses more onto the individual aspect. But will they get the battle to a match point? We'll find out soon, or will ID get one back? I think the last 2 battles, ID are trying their best to bring it close. I mean, they've done the right stuff with the focus fire and also the hip hop push sharing, but essentially they're losing a lot of hit points when crossing. Something they have to be aware of in the next couple of battles. Not that they should not have made those pushes, but it's something that they need to bear in mind when they want to make a push. But again, there is not a lot of time for you to decide, because if they don't push right away, then the Myers will be taken out immediately and they will be under a gun disadvantage. So it's pretty much a give or take situation, to be honest here. But GB will now send most of the tanks over to AC, and ID will send most of the tanks over to B and A. So I think A will be hotly contested. But ID will get a B cap at the start. As B cap, again, as I always mention, it's closer to the north side than C is to the south side. B is captured, and D will be captured by Campbell soon, and that will give ID the cap lead, although GB might be able to get A. That brings GB just only 1 tank away from flipping, but Professor and Double getting very aggressive with those tanks. They have bled quite a lot in getting in those positions. I haven't bled any at the moment, but LDS has taken a hit from Tokyo and also another one from Gyeong. He's still reloading, but we could see a push coming from ID here. OK Man is now quite low, so I think this is the focus for ID, but GB will buy time for this. GB is now trying to focus onto LDS. And OK Man, if they can't kill OK Man quickly, this is exactly what GB wants them to do. But they do get OK Man very quickly. Nutpro is now dead, and GB is now trying to get Hinter. LDS is also out of mission, as Barden Sword bounces onto Gosu, only manages to track Gosu. Professor is now down to 1-shot, and he kills Hinter, but he's now dead. It's now a 5 versus 4 situation. Spartan Sword is the focus for GB, while ID would try to get Gosu off the way, or maybe Monaco in this situation. Spartan Sword, can he stay alive for a little bit longer? No, he cannot. It's now a 4 versus 4 situation. Hampon's still full heal, and this is going to matter a lot in this at this stage. Poor Rihanna, the focus for GB, and Frozen looks to put a big one onto Gosu, gets the tank out of the fight. Poor Rihanna, big one onto Gyeong. Doesn't matter if they don't focus fire here, because they just have a lot more hit points, and they have 1 more gun on the battlefield now. 3 versus 1, 1 against too many. Nothing much Gyeong can do. It's 2-2 for both teams. Well done to Team ID. It's kind of a reverse situation for this battle. GB lost too many hit points at the beginning, and they weren't able to bring it back to their favor, even if they have good focus fire. But ID again, the focus fire is on point. Not much you can fault here. Love how both teams bring it to a brawl, but we can safely say these 2 teams know how to focus fire and hip hop. Maybe not to that big of an extent with hip hop push sharing, but they certainly know how to get focus fire and communicate with one another. Well done to ID. Now it is a 2-2 result for 2 apiece. both teams are closely matched, and both teams are now in a good form, good run of form. I will be sad to see a team out of the tournament tonight, because GV they finally got themselves into the game. But is it too late? I don't know. ID, on the other hand, they're definitely looking to get back to where they are. And if they actually qualify to the grand final and win the season outright, this will be their first win since 2021 autumn season, if I remember correctly. Because 2022, the seasons are won by first Risk in the 2022 winter, GV in 2022 spring, Risk in both 2022 summer and autumn. So Risk is the team to beat. They have won 4 out of 5 previous seasons. So they are on a really good track record, and can any team overthrow Risk? I don't know. We'll focus on this for now. Oh, Mutsu. I don't know. You need to summon him in a chat, probably. But GB blue team from the North spawn will put most of the tanks over to the A side, and ID as well. So we could see another big brawl, and all this. I think all of the brawls have the results at the start already, being whether one of the teams can bleed, can crossfire better, or one of the teams bleed less. And both teams have good focus fire, and to some extent they can do hip hop push air. Very similar level, so it all depends on which team bleeds more at the start of the push. The Cholera looks for a big one onto Professor, drops the tungsten shell, but it's a bounce. Professor is safe for another day. C is captured by ID as we speak. Both teams have a 200 LT, so it's good. I am happy about that. Oh, there's a track shot onto Gotsu. Doesn't really register a hit there, but a penetration, I mean. But Hinter, good shot onto Gotsu. He can really hold down with this small berm. Spartan sword bounces onto Gotsu. There are a lot of bounces coming from ID side, but this is not going to matter because both of them are not pushing at the moment. So this is not ideal for ID, but not game changing. But now GB have found a breakthrough on ID's defense, but they are losing a lot of hit points in trying to push. But the Golera is now quite low, so he has to stay safe. Okay, man, I don't know if this is a good idea because he's pushing 1 versus 2. I think this is a poor move. He's going to go down very soon. Rianica gets okay, man, but at the same time, the hit points are quite close. Frozen and the Golera are now very low, but Giang is out of the fight. It's now a 7 versus 5. Hinter is now very healthy. Kaplan has been backed. Has been backed. Gotsu says they need to kill Kaplan. Look at this. This is very chaotic. I don't know what happened here, but they are now trying to get Monaco out of the way. Frozen is out of the fight as well. And it's now a 6 versus 4. 5 versus 4, actually. Gotsu is out of the fight. Hinter is out. LDS is back to the garage, and the Golera has to snipe from behind. GB might still have this. They still have 3 relatively healthy tanks, but now Professor's going to go down. Kaplan's going to take him out. 4 versus 2. 4 against 2 against too many. Oh, maybe not. I might have jinxed it. Kaplan on fire, but he manages to put another shot onto Tokyo, and Poriana gets the kill here. Spartan sword hops to put a shot onto Nupro, but it's a miss. Nupro gets the kill, but Nupro has to carry for the team. Can he do so? Now the Golera has to come in. Oh, big shot! Important shot from the Golera. I think that could seal the deal. That was your deal. Poor Relica has to get a shot in onto Nutpro. Oh no, oh no, oh no. He is still finding a shot in, but he gets a kill onto Nutpro, bringing the fight to a 3-2. It was a really close one actually, but ID has done better than GB. I think in terms of the positioning, I think GB just look a lot more disjointed than ID. For some reason, GB has been able to get those shots in to bleed ID for a lot, but the disorganization of GB is what makes them lose this one. ID, they have done a great job again. They're really close to one another. The little hit point pool targets are behind, are safe. And they are well aware of that, so they are not going to risk having them very close to the fight. But most importantly, they've put crucial, important shots onto GV's tanks. Had they been unable to do that, GB could have won this one, and it would have been GB on the match point, not Team ID. So now Team ID is on the match point. Now we're going back to Always' Palms. Can GB win 3 in a row here? Or will ID gonna come back and win 4-2? Let's find out. In this battle, well, once again, I have to apologize for my relative lack of energy today because I'm still sick. I'm still recovering from the cold, as you might have heard me coughing from time to time on the stream. But I am very excited about what's going to unfold on the EU. So I'll be back moderating streams. Well, I'm the only moderator. I'm a moderator on Fujit's YouTube channel, not and also definitely I'm going to help Fujit in doing some moderation. But I digress. We're going to go back to the second battle on Oasis Palms. This time, both teams have got to light tank, which is good. I'm happy both teams love their heavy light tanks. And where are they going to go? Oh, Nupro spotting floor. Yeah, a good shot there. Campon taking a more conventional position that he spotted. He's going to run away. Poor Rielica has to stay safe there. But only one shot. It's not going to matter too much. It's not game changing at all. Oh, Campon takes a big one from Professor. But ID will get B. This is a risky move. 2 tanks on B. How are they going to get these 2 tanks out of B? Oh, GB. They need to punish the 6 TPs. How are they able to do so? Good shot to Hinter. But only 1 shot. Hinter. No shots onto LDS. Big one from Tokyo onto LDS though. Now, ID has got A, but they are punished for getting both caps. So, there is a lot of advantage going to GB with the hit points, but they don't have the cap advantage. They just have to find a way to rotate, but they also don't have a lot of time. Remember, 10 cap points per 2 seconds of increase. Doing the maths, we're essentially talking about around a minute more to go for GB, and they have a light tank, so that's going to give them some information, but essentially, really not a lot of time to decide on which side to push. They have to be decisive about this. GB, Tokyo and Doha now sneaking into way, but ID will be well prepared about this. Oh my god, Tokyo takes a big one. Professor also takes 1 from the Galera, despite trying to hold out there. 2 versus 2 super conks. They can hold down nicely, but they haven't been able to put a shot in. But look at how well ID is doing with the crossfire. Now, the hit points are neck and neck, despite GB leading by more than 2k at one point. Oh dear, GB is leading more and more. They're trying to get A back, but their positioning is not good. Doha is so far forward And it makes sense for I to focus onto Doha. Frozen will try to put one onto Doha. I'm about to sort, and oh, actually, I is going to make a counter push onto GB. LDS is going to get a kill and will pull back because he is very low. He's very low in hit points. But GB has got all 3 caps, so pressures onto I to get all the tanks out of the way. Porienica is very, very low. Lapro needs to get Porienica here. He does. And they will be captured by ID, I think. But they also lost me, which is going to be big. Their Galera is down. Campon needs to carry the team. Hinter is out of the fight. I don't know. I think this can still be GV's game. They have 2 bases. This is going to be important. Camp was now down to 1 shot. They lost LDS as well. I think it's going to get better and better for Team GV. Tokyo still alive. It barely no. He's going to be taken out by Frozen. GV, I think, will bring it to a tiebreaker. I think the main reason is that they got all 3 caps. And ID weren't really able to capitalize on the good crossfire they've done to bleed GB at the beginning. And then they weren't able to get those low hit pool targets of GB out. Certainly GB, they really made a good run here, and they're now on the tiebreaker. ID 4 tanks doing more than 2k. I think I might analyze this and see what has gone terribly wrong for ID, because they were in such a good position when they are defending their cap lead, and GV, credits to them, 6 tanks doing more than 2k. They managed to get the tanks out as quickly as they could. They now are on a match point 2 as well as ID. We are back to a tiebreaker just yet. Same as yesterday, which I was not streaming that fixture, but you know what I mean. Thank you, Cherish, for the good wishes. I hope I will be even better tomorrow, and maybe I could get hyped up and excited for my commentary, but I have to. But I don't really have that energy today. Sorry about that. NG will take double E5s, double 60 TPs, as Sheridan, a Strip K, and an IS4 with ID triple 60 TP, an IS4, Strip K, an IS7, and a T100 LT. This is going to matter a lot. Who will win the tiebreaker? 30 more seconds to go. It's a different map than Oasis Palms. I love how both teams are equally matched. And ID, GB, will we see a rematch of the grand final of the winter season? Whew, I'm excited, and so are you, I believe. Let's see. ID versus GB. GB from the north spawn and ID from the south spawn. Let's go high. And oh, Upper taking a Sheridan. ID taking a T100 LT. And both of them will spot one another potentially. Yes, they do spot one another, but oh my god, a great shot from Upper onto Campon, but he will not be able to spot Frozen crossing. And GB will send 5 tanks over to A. LDS haven't spotted one so far, but he's there to spot whoever's trying to push further. And that's the idea of an IS7 there. I mean, he can also get back to safety if GB decides to push. They're trying to get A with 3 tanks. And can they get a cap lead this time? And ID might be forced to make a move. No! It's actually ID getting C first, but just a tiny fraction of a second. So GB needs to make a push instead, not ID. And ID, they don't want to bleed too much here. Ooh, this is going to be intense. What we see. ID. Are we going to be seeing Professor trying to go for B? Doha still spotted. LDS. Oh, Campo receives a big one. It's a blind fire, is it? Oh my lord. At the right time, at the right position, Campo. Very sorry about this. You don't deserve to be shot like that. But GB does not know this. The Campo will be a lot more defensive in this situation now. I has dropped more and more hit points and GB looking stronger. They're really getting very defensive. They don't have at the end of the day they still need to make a rotation because I still have more cap points than GB. So yeah, so we will see. Frozen attempting to go for B, attempting to extend the cap lead. Probably not knowing that they have a slight cap advantage, but they will go for that. GB, do they have a response to Frozen capping? But I mean, GB might have been a bit too defensive actually, because they aren't able to reset Frozen. Frozen is in a really good position to shield himself, and he gets B unharmed. Professor arrived way too late, I'm afraid. Hinter dropping the tungsten shell. Good shot onto Professor, but it's a low roll, I'm afraid. OK Man takes another one, and GB tries to retake B, but at what cost? At what cost? B might be taken from GB, but Frozen's now down to one shot. Hinter wants to put a bait one onto OK Man, but Ideal's also losing a lot of hit points. This is actually so close to call. Spartan Sword with a lot of hit points now has to come in, and he's doing that. And ID, Campo and Florianica still really healthy. But OK Man is now down to a one-shot. Hinter might be able to kill OK Man. Or maybe not, he might be finding Professor instead. Oh, but OK Man is the first time down. Good shot onto Professor. Hinter wants to kill Professor. Look, Golera is dead. It's now a 6 vs 6 situation. Hinter receives a hit from behind. But Professor is out of running. Frozen is also down. But ID still has speed, but RG wants to be back. Frozen is out of the fight, but now we will see Young going for C. And this will pile a lot of pressure for ID. They are dropping hit points left, right, and center. It's now a 3 vs 5 situation. And GB is steadily winning this one. Florianica wants to put a good shot onto Monaco, and he does. And we're going to be seeing a 3 vs 3 fight over here with Young still with a lot of hit points. Getting C. I don't know how this is going to go. Florianica is out. Tokyo is still alive. But it's Spartan Sword that gets a kill on Tokyo, and Spartan Sword staying at B, preventing GB from getting B. But the hit points are still with GB. The cap points are still with GB. I think GB will be through to the grand final tomorrow. Doha and Gyang kills Spartan Sword. GG's to GB. Made a comeback. Berlin's pep talk is back in full force. Well done to GB, getting all those important kills of ID, and they are feeling very, very happy about this. 4-3 to GB again on the tiebreaker. ID, valiant effort to them. I think they've done a lot of things correctly. Focus fire, hip hop sharing. There's nothing for them to regret here. They have made themselves proud. They have made themselves proud. Winter Fox. The cap points might be tied, but if you see at the start of this battle, you will see ID just slightly got the cap lead over GB. I think with ID like I think the team that captures the base more quickly will be shown below rather than above. So this is why ID gets the cap lead here by a tiny margin. But it's also always good to extend the cap lead when you're able to do so. So Frozen did not do a bad job there. But yes, ID valiant effort. Nothing you should feel sorry here. You had a good run. You had a good run. Hope to see you stronger next season, but you did yourselves proud. But it's going to be Risk versus GV again. A repeat of the winter season. Will GV go all the way and win the entire season? It will be the first time since 2022 spring, but nothing is. And if Risk wins wins this season, it will be their fourth consecutive season winning. Fourth consecutive season as the champion of the APAC server. But scoreline is 4-3 in favor of GB. Well done, GB. Impressive performance against ID tonight. A bit of a slow start against Risk and to ID as well. First battle, but GB grew into the game and they truly deserve to be there. And tomorrow I'll be following Risk versus GB, and I will see if I can get the captains of both teams to an interview, as I always do for grand final games. So for now, we will analyze the second battle on Oasis Palms. Whew. Great stuff tonight. Great job to both teams. To both teams. Commiserations to ID. Third place. $3,000 prize pool. Not bad at all. So let me get this battle shown. Okay. Right. On this see. Yeah. There we go. Let's analyze this battle. Is this? No, that was the wrong battle. It should be this battle. Sorry. Okay, let's analyze this battle. And where are they going to go? Oh, Nupro spotting floor. Yeah, a good shot there. Campon taking a more conventional position. But he's spotted. He's going to run away. For Rierica has to stay safe there. Yeah, common position that a lot of light players would take at the beginning of the battle. One shot, it's not going to matter too much. It's not game changing at all. Oh, Campon takes a big one from Professor. But ID will get always a risk to take B on always a part, especially you might get shot while going back. I mean, these two areas are these two corridors are out in the open, cross shots from C. So teams that are completely ready, teams on the other side would position their tanks to shoot whoever is going out B. So having two tanks in B is a huge risk to take. And we do see some teams losing a lot of hit points getting out of B. So you have to be really careful about this. But if you are able to get B, it gives you a lot of breathing space, especially if you also get the other cap too, which in this case would be A for ID. At B, this is a risky move. Two tanks on B. How are they going to get these two tanks out of B? Oh, GB. They need to punish the 6 TPs. How are they able to do so? Good shot to Hinter. Only one shot to Hinter. No shots onto LDS. Big one from Tokyo. Okay. Well, so I don't think GB has punished them enough for the 6 TPs. But they have got a really good hit point advantage now. I do want you to remember this because they now have more than 2k, and very soon you will see that being reduced as GV looks to make a rotation because they don't have a cap lead, and IDF2 have 2 caps, and they don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to skip ahead, and let's see what GV is doing. Okay, I think I skipped way too ahead because this is way too forward. All right, let's begin here. Tokyo and Doha now sneaking into way, but ID will be well prepared about this. Oh my god, Tokyo takes the big one. Professor also takes one from the Galera, despite trying to hold out there. It's 2 versus 2 Super Conks. Yeah, the Super Conks still really healthy. I mean, they should be able to win this fight over A. And it looks looks good so far for ID. Now the hit points are reduced to less than 1,000. So ID has done a good job in bleeding GV in the rotation, especially. Good shots onto Tokyo, and the Professor just got a little bit careless there. They can hold down nicely, but they haven't been able to put a shot in. Those bounces from the Super Conquerors might have mattered a lot actually here, because GV's going to make a push onto A, and in that sense you don't want that to happen. But look at how well ID is doing with the crossfire. Now the hit points are neck and neck, despite GV leading by more than 2k at one point. Alright, I probably have missed a lot of action over here. Near the middle side, the B side. Maybe this is exactly why GV won, but you will see later. Oh dear, GV is winning more and more. But in this sense, I should have called for a push from the Super Conks. LDS could stay behind to put shots onto the crossing tanks, and the Golera also with full health, you should go in as well. Campon might also want to bring the numbers to this to 5 near A at the same time. Hinter and Pureka should be able to hold off for a good amount of time. They're trying to get A back, but their positioning is not good. Doha is... the reason why I say that is because Doha is very far forward. Professor not with a lot of support. Monaco a bit... well, can't blame him for that. But these 2 tanks, they essentially, I don't think they have a lot of gun depression, especially 60 TP for sure. So I think in this case they really have to converge their forces, and I mean Nut Pro might have to get a little bit closer to get to the backside. I think this is kind of why I say that they are not in good positions, because it's kind of easy for ID to focus fire in this case. Let's put it this way, because all they can see is Doha, which they have shots, and then the next one they can go for Monaco or Professor as they like. Maybe Professor next, so they can link up with Hinter, although Hinter is quite low. Those 2 tanks here, I think Campbell not going with the team on A could also work, but essentially it's more like a 3 versus 2, or maybe 2 versus 2. So I might not call for that. And Paul Yannicka would, well, we can drop the reactive armor so he can defend. So far forward, and it makes sense for I to focus onto Doha. Frozen will try to put one onto Doha, inspired sword, and oh, actually, I is going to make a counter push onto GV. LDS is going to get a kill, and he will pull back because he is very low. He's very low in hit points. At this point, the hit points are still neck and neck, but an important thing that I also again missed is that they got all 3 caps. How are they able to do so? I think this is an issue. Look at this. Going to be a counter push onto. This is a problem here. Those Super Conquerors wasted a shot. They didn't communicate. It could have been the Super Conquerors instead resetting Professor. I think this is one of the main issues I have missed here. If LDS says, well, I'm going to get a kill over there, and the Super Conquerors would just turn their attention to prevent Professor from game B. This is the issue. Hinter can't really go for that because he might be killed. It depends on it depends on Super Conquerors in this case, and they couldn't get, and they wasted their shots all over to A. And now look at this. GV now has all 3 caps. They can't get C obviously. And how are they able to? Oh yeah, Doha also gets A. This is another problem. How are they allowing Doha to get A? Those Super Conquerors are full health. They can afford to lose some hit points and they can just go over and just put shots on Doha. In the end, those bounces and misses focus onto Doha. I mean, look at this.
Frozen will try
See, they missed the shots.
onto Doha.
Yeah. I think the 2 Super Conquerors have made a double mistake, and those double mistakes are so costly. And I think this kind of seems to puts a nail in the coffin for ID.
It's kind of low with hit points, but G has got all 3 caps, so pressures onto ID to get all the tanks out of the way. Porienica is very low. Pro needs to get Porienica.
So now, what ID could only do here is to get back A and B, and that inevitably spreads out the team. Hinter is very low. 1 shot, Porienica down. That brings them to a 5 versus 6 situation. And ID, because their tanks sitting on A, they can't really move. GV can try to reposition themselves not to get shot from anyone on A.
Here, he does, and A will be captured by ID.
And I think there is also some...
But they also lost B, which is going to be big. Their Galera is down. Campoint needs to carry the team. Hinter is out of the fight.
I mean, at this point, it's still very close. 4 versus 6, but I mean, 4 versus 6. The effect of the EPM is going to be really low. Monaco 1-shot, Tokyo also quite low. But GV has made a really good, has done a really good job in doing the focus fire. I don't know how Lecolera get. Oh yeah, Lecolera is. I mean, yeah, it's good.
Carry the team. Hinter is out of the fight. I don't know. I think this can still be GV's game. They have 2 bases. This is going to be important. Camp was now down to 1 shot. They lost LDS as well. I think it's going to get better.
Yeah. At this point, it's a lost cause. So I think one thing, the main takeaway is that the Super Conquerors double mistakes hugely costly. Those double mistakes, if they have not made them, B would not have been captured, A would not have been captured. They would not need to stay to capture a base. And GV, what they have done really well to focus fire. They've communicated much better than ID. They've done alright with the focus fire. Let's not disregard their efforts in the focus fire here. But they do seem a little bit lot more disorganized. Let's put it this way. They are slightly more disorganized than GV, and that's already enough to give them the loss. It was a very close game in the end. It could have gone either way, but those double mistakes of the Super Conquerors plus GV's immaculate crossfire plus focus fire will be enough to give them the win. And I think this means you need to be really careful when you communicate about getting the kill. Because on the EU server, as you saw with APA versus Endgame, they communicate which player to get a kill, so that the other tanks can go for other targets instead, to maximize their hit potential. So well done to GV in this battle. I think this analysis is going to become a lot clearer as to why GV won against Team ID. Despite Team ID doing very well at the defense on AB, and also defending the push. The hit points are quite close, but then they just lost on a lot of tanks, and they lost B and A as well. I don't think we have more. I don't think we have much time left to go. So I'm going to end with a replay again from Liberté, and let's call it a day. And we'll see you tomorrow in the grand final, and also, and also, yeah, I'm quite jaded. my energy levels are running very low at the moment. You can hear my voice. I'm just not in form today. But I am going to... We are going to look at another replay from Liberté. Where's the replay? There we go. Let's watch this replay. Dead rail. Let's say about this.
Time to roll out.
Ooh. Oh, I don't know why I'm just sniping it. That makes no sense. Once you're spotted, this happens.
Enemy is hit.
Unlucky last shot, but oh, Death Star, good shot there. But this is exactly why you don't want to snipe in a heavy tank. You don't have a fear factor, and you also don't have the armor, as you're being shot at different angles. On that rail, I mean. Oh, that was not a good pushing a teammate. That was a lucky shot. That should cripple the Death Star, I would suppose. Now he's playing really defensive, which is understandable considering the team now has 3 tanks, well, now 4 tanks out of the battlefield, and the enemy still has 7 tanks alive. So this is a very precarious situation. But I would actually focus the attention over to this ISM here, which is he might have killed it actually if he doesn't get too distracted. But I digress. Well, that was a good kill from the teammate. The M6 still should not move back.
We've damaged them.
Yeah, the STB1. Oh, he should be able to get something. Oh, that was not a good shot. Leopard 1 could out DPM now. And TVP still on the really long reload. He's very helpless in this situation. He's almost fully reloaded. The STB1 has received a couple of bounce, so that's good. That was not a good shot, but that was good. And this is a good kill. Oh, the F-Star is coming in. He's just going to go for a long reload. Might have been able to kill that 50-beam, to be honest with you. Oh, the STB1 saves his day. Good job to STB1. Now, 2 versus 4, can they pull this off? This is going to be extremely difficult. Oh, T57 heavy looking the other way. STB1 tries his best. Good shot there. Oh, that will be a very difficult shot. Oh, and the STB1 is dead. Poor little fella. It's a what he could. But that was a great kill. Now, Death Star is coming to take him out. He's still full health. He's deciding whether to go for a reload or not, but it's a good decision not to go for a reload because that M60 is a one-shot, and he now goes for a reload. Or maybe he should not have gone for a reload. He should have killed that Death Star, to be honest with you. So he's now going for that Death Star. Unless Death Star, the full health, full HP Death Star is able to kill him.
So this is a very dangerous situation. He's trying to do some spotting, but it's going to be... Oh my god. Death Star's almost there. Oh, that was fortunate. The Death Star would have been totally ready to get that bloody tank out. And now he's on a long reload. Can he pull this off? Probably he can. Oh, Death Star almost killed him actually. But it's good to get him so unspotted, and this is why he's not moving an inch. But maybe he hasn't moved a little bit way too early, but he's probably unspotted by now. He's looking for a different route, and I like what he's thinking at this moment in time. And seeing whether the Death Star is coming from this way. Oh, he's actually coming from this way. 2 shots onto Death Star. Oh, that was a cheeky second shot. It would have been bounced if it were to be me playing this tank. But the Death Star is down to a 1 shot. Now going to the left side. See, Death Star is looking the other way, which he is not at the moment. He tunnel vision a little bit. Can he get a win? Can he get a win? Less than a minute left to go. 34 seconds actually. Both players now fighting for a draw potentially. I would have fought for a draw. I mean, a win is good, but maybe you will earn more credits and XP if you win. Oh, got it! He got the kill. Well done to Liberté. Yes, this is a great one. And a well-deserved mastery. That's what this is. I wouldn't have done that, to be honest with you. Kolobanov, is that? Yeah, it was a Kolobanov. Well done. And yeah, it's me tonight. I'll be seeing all of you tomorrow for the grand final, Risk versus GV. This is it, and see you very soon. Bye for now.